Hello and welcome back to my homeschooling channel. My name is Houlie. I am a mom and a teacher, and my goal is to make high quality homeschooling easy for you and fun for your children. So today we're going to dive into 7 tips for top quality kindergarten homeschooling. So if you're a homeschooler with kindergarten aged children, this video is perfect for you. Make sure that you hit the like button if you like it and that you subscribe for more content like this. The first tip that I have for parents who have kindergarten age students or children is that you use a lot of stories. Stories are a great way to engage young children and teach them literacy and language. At this age, they're starting to learn to read and write. They're not super comfortable with it yet. So being exposed to something that they find interesting and that has letters and that has new language is going to be such a great thing to do in your homeschooling program. At HomeschoolToGo, we have the stories that are somewhat animated, not super stimulating, but also not just plain images or plain text. And then we also put subtitles on, so as the child is listening to the story and looking at the story, they're also seeing the words that match up. And so their subconscious brains are doing all the work, and this is proven to help accelerate the reading in children this young. So I've had, even as a teacher, lots of experiences where I found out that the children that had parents that read them stories at home and were able to look at the pages and the words learned to read so much faster than the children that didn't have this kind of exposure. So I highly recommend it. Also, stories help with imagination and visualization. They help expose kids to language, to new language. So this is also a really good way of exposing more than one language. There's stories that you can find in English and Spanish or in English and French. So this is a really good tool that you can use for your kindergarten homeschooling. Tip number 2, one of the requirements for kindergarten is that they are able to sound out certain letters. And so I want to share with you a book that worked miracles for me when I was homeschooling children in kindergarten in grade 1. It's called Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And I'm not saying that you're gonna go through the entire book in kindergarten, but it's really nice. It's just 10 to 20 minute lessons that you can do daily with your child. It will create a big difference, and you can start it in kindergarten because the first couple of lessons are pretty basic, and so it will be something that will help them learn to practice and sound out words. I highly recommend this book. It is one of the staples of homeschoolers, and I'll add my affiliate link below so you can get this book for your program. Tip number 3, phonetics. Phonetics is a really important part of homeschooling when you're in kindergarten. So what I like to do is, let's say we're learning about, for this week, we're learning about words that start with the letter M. I'm just giving an example. So you want to expose your child to words that start with M and use different vowels. So ma, me, mi, mo, mu. And you want to find words that exemplify this, but most importantly, you want to find songs that use these. So I like to play karaoke and find songs that are aligned with the phonetics that we're learning that week, and learn these songs and sing them with my children and my students. And I find this works miracles, and it works really great for homeschooling and for children learning phonetics in kindergarten. Number 4, so in kindergarten, you start to expose children to even and odd numbers, to counting in pairs, adding and subtracting. And a really good way to do this is through repetition and through showing real life examples. So if you're trying to teach them about pairs, you want to show them how in real life there are things that come in pairs. So for example, a set of eyes, they come in pairs, shoes come in pairs, and then you go through all of this. You try to use real life examples, and then you also want to use things that are a part of their daily life, things that are in the kitchen that they see every day. you know? So for example, apples, and then I will show them, okay, this is a pair of apples. Now you show me what a pair of pears are. So just to give you a little idea of how you can do this while homeschooling, and know that in kindergarten, repetition is paramount. So even if they don't get it at first, just make sure that you're repeating these concepts constantly and you will see it pay off. Number 5. So one thing that I found very important in preparing our children for the future is the ability to communicate. You need to communicate to be a leader, you need to communicate to be a good partner, you need to communicate for pretty much anything in life. I think it's very important for them to work on communicating their feelings. And this is something that is not necessarily taught in schools. It's not necessarily taught in all homes. Like for example, when I grew up, my parents didn't really teach me how to talk about my feelings, because I don't think my parents' taught them this. So it's kind of like a new thing that our generation is making sure we're doing so that our children are set up for a better future. And I think it's really important to always ask about feelings. So for example, when you ask them, how are you? Ask them to tell you how they're feeling with more than one word. Don't let them just say good or bad or sad. Say, okay, let's think about 3 words that describe how you are feeling. Okay, how are you feeling? Like really sit and breathe and tap into how you're feeling, and let's talk about how you're feeling. So they get comfortable speaking about this. Is going to be very, very beneficial for their emotional intelligence. So that is my next tip. All right, so our next tip is kind of related to the last one. It's about talking, it's about communicating, and descriptive language is very important for kindergartners. So what we want to do is when we talk about things, we can ask them or prompt them to describe. So if they're talking about a friend or they're talking about a show or a book, okay, describe to me what you think this character looks like. Or you can also, alternatively, something that I would do with my students and my children would be, I would ask them to describe their dreams. Children love talking about dreams, and so I would ask them to keep a journal of their dreams. And so at this age, they are not very good at obviously writing long sentences. So they would do a drawing and then they would explain their drawing and maybe write one short sentence, and I would create the prompt. So I would be, in my dream, I would write, in my dream, I saw, and then I would let them say like a girl or a boy or my mom, you know? And then I would prompt the next sentence as well, saying something like, she was. Also would teach them how to sound it out and write it down. So that's a good activity that you can do to help with descriptive language in kindergarten. And finally, the last tip that I want to give you for homeschooling a kindergartner is music and dance. So I find creative expression and letting go energy important at this age, and I highly suggest that you include a little bit of dance, a little bit of music within your homeschooling, so that it's not always sitting down and writing, but that you're moving around and you're keeping them engaged. So I hope those tips help you in your homeschooling journey. If you liked this video, if you resonated with what I'm saying in my teaching style, please give this video a like and subscribe, because we will be sharing more valuable information for high quality homeschooling. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.